The numbers are in for the Knoxville Real Estate Market for July 2020, and I'm going to lay them out for you right now. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to All Things Knoxville with me, Ben Barredo, your real estate pro and relocation specialist for East Tennessee. The numbers for the Knoxville Real Estate Market for July 2020 are in, as well as the national real estate numbers. And I'm going to lay all of that out for you, as well as give you my interpretation for the future. But before that happens, I just wanted to remind you that I make videos like this, as well as highlighting my community of Knoxville every week. If you like these videos, I would love for you to support the channel by subscribing to the channel, as well as giving it a thumbs up and maybe sharing it on your social media channel to help me get the word out about this great real estate agent here in East Tennessee. Also, if you're thinking of moving to Knoxville or East Tennessee, give me a call. I help people like you all the time, and I'd love to help you too. So first things first, let's talk about the national news. Due to the extreme shortage in inventory, there has been a surge in new construction homes. This newfound confidence, as well as builders trying to carry the market forward by adding inventory where there is very little, has caused a surge in numbers. New home builds through July are up 4.3% from the same period in 2019. Even though this new build trend has created some positive outlook in the market, there are still threats from high levels of unemployment, and the uncertain future of the next wave of fiscal relief created such headwinds, and home construction is a very slow process that oftentimes is too slow to respond to market trends. Still, with a shortage of homes and an influx of buyers in the market, there's no real reason for new builds to slow down right now. Even as few homes are available for sale, and with mortgage rates going up sharply in recent days, buyer demand continues to press on. A release from Ellie Mae showed that 80% of all purchase loans applied for in the last 90 days closed in July. That's a rate that's up 74% from June, and it's consistent with what closed in July of 2019. This improvement suggests that despite tight lending conditions, a growing share of mortgage applicants are able to make their way through the entire process, and that lenders are able to keep up with the growing demand of buyers. What's more, the average loan size for a purchase mortgage applicant rose to a new all-time high of $367,000 last week. That's 13.7% above the level from this time last year and 3.1% higher than the average size before the pandemic began. A trend that suggests upward pressure will remain on home prices in the near future. One factor that diminishes home buyers' outlook is, of course, the fate of the labor market. Recent evidence has suggested that while the job market continues to improve, its recovery has decelerated. According to the job website Indeed, the number of job postings as of August 14th was 20.3% lower than the same time last year, an annual difference that widened last week for the first time since April. To be fair, August of 2019 saw a notable spike in job postings, but the increased spread between this year and last was also driven by the leveling off of posting currently open. The report states that there are about half the number of postings for hospitality and tourism jobs right now as there was this time last year, while the retail job openings have fallen almost 12% since the end of July. Meanwhile, separate research from the RAND Corporation outlined how a growing share of layoffs that are deemed persistent rather than temporary is being driven by a large share of people transitioning from the latter category to the former. Workers who expected their jobs to return but have since been told otherwise, basically. According to the report, 20% of May and June's persistent layoffs had been temporary layoffs in the month before. Understanding this dynamic will be crucial to determining how lasting the unemployment situation is going to be and the most effective policy solutions, especially if job postings resume their improvement. Now, that's the current condition and news for the U.S. housing market and economic market. Now let's talk about the Knoxville housing numbers. Active listings. When it comes to active listings, we keep going in the wrong direction. July's active listing numbers were down 35% from this time last year, while new listings were down by 4%. It's not that new listings aren't entering the market, it's just that they're exiting the market so quickly that the number of available properties compared to the number of buyers out there just isn't allowing for an increase in the inventory numbers. The spring season has come and gone now, and I don't think we're going to see a rise in those numbers before we hit the winter break. Let's hope I'm wrong. Closings. Another spike in the number of closings is nearly equivalent to the movement we saw last month. However, we hit an all-time high for numbers of closed homes by a landslide. The number of closings grew by 12% in July from 2019. Now, if you look at the line here, you'll see that we had a pretty hard drop in April and May. What we may be seeing there is that buyers made up for the time lost during the lockdown, and what would normally have closed in April and May shifted over to June and July. It'll be interesting to see if we stay in this trajectory or if we see it start to level out in a couple of months. Months of supply. With few houses to sell and more buyers than we can serve, we are seeing another MLS record. If nobody else listed, but we kept selling at this rate, we would be at a standstill in about 7 weeks. The old phrase, got a list to last, is extremely relevant here because unless we can supply the number of homes being purchased, then we are in a recession of a different kind. One where sales are stifled because there's nothing to buy. Average sales price. We're seeing the sales price up at $277,000 or $300,000 depending on the source. For Knoxville, compared to last July, that represents an 11% increase year over year. Not even during the heyday of the early to mid 2000s did we see double digits increase in sales price like this. Perhaps even more relevant to the question about appraisals is that since January, this is a 14% increase over the course of the last 7 months. This is likely not sustainable. Affordability will be affected eventually if we keep going at this rate. And when this happens, this means that buyers, especially first-time home buyers, will not be able to make a move on the market. They're going to get priced out. Sales pending or pending sales. Another record breaker here is pending sales, which is up by almost 13% or 12.9% if you want to be exact. It's not quite as many homes under contract as we saw in June, but pretty close. I do think that this number would be a lot higher if there was more inventory though. This will prove to keep the closing numbers high for the next couple of months at least. Average days on market. The average days on market is 33 days. And to be honest, I don't think that we can really go a lot lower than this because it takes 30 days to close a home once it's under contract, because the 30 days represents the time a transaction spends in escrow. If you take out those 30 days, then you're looking at an average of 3 days on the market. The escrow period is mostly driven by contingencies in the contract and lender processes. However, if we start to see more cash buyers come to the market, then there will be a drastic change in this number. Showings. Now this number is really just referring to Coldwell Banker Wallace listings only. And we had over 2,400 showings. That's not a record, but it's nearly a record for us. Likely a lot of the potential showings aren't having to occur due to an increased use of video, purchasing sight unseen, and also homes pending so quickly that buyers are not getting a chance to go and see the homes they want to. Have you seen my video on the 7 repairs to avoid before putting your home on the market? These repairs are fun and they can add personal value, but they don't add monetary value to a home. You're not going to get a return on your investment. If you want to check out that video, you can just click right here and watch that right now, or you can click on or follow the link in the description. That's it for this month's real estate market update. I hope it answered some questions, and until next week's video release, I hope you have a great day.